I've worked there for almost 24 years. I've been a nurse for over 25.
I've been in the position as a social worker over 10 years.
My mother was a registered nurse.
I'm a registered nurse. I work for Capital District Psychiatric Center.
One of the things that's become clear to us over the years is that our members work in hostile work environments.
Fractured ribs, clavicles, noses, lacerations.
We have had members that have been punched.
He punched me.
Kicked me all over my body.
Strangled.
He's pulling my head back like this.
And even in one very sad case, murdered.
On November 24th, 1998, my mother was murdered by one of her patients.
45-year-old Diane Wiley was hauled into city court this morning to face murder charges. Tuesday afternoon, Judi Scanlon, an intensive case manager for the Buffalo Psychiatric Center, paid a visit to Wiley's West Ferry Street home. But what was supposed to be social work turned into a deadly encounter.
When Judi Scanlon left an envelope in the top drawer of her desk saying to be opened in the event of injury, that tells you just how frightening it is for people to work in this kind of environment.
Nowhere did as a social worker was I told that, I need to go in to work each day and possibly not think about returning home.
No one should be hurt at work. Absolutely no one.
Her responsibilities was to do routine home assessment visits on patients who were living within the community on their own. And so she would do vitals and give meds, and she would also make certain that they were adjusting to life within the community. She was killed 2 days before Thanksgiving, and my son was born 6 months later in May. My greatest joy in my life was accompanied by the biggest tragedy in my life. And no words can really express just how devastating it was.
This campaign is to raise to the fore again what can be done at the work site to prevent these kinds of things from happening, and at the same time create some legislation and law that would also benefit our members at these very difficult work sites.
I lost teeth. I was blind in my left eye, and then he broke the bones in my face that hold up your eye. So I went down to the safety department, and the head of our safety department, phoned ahead to the Utica Police Department and said that we would be coming down to press charges. And we got down there as I, told him what happened, and then I wanted to press charges. This officer said to me, "Well, you knew that when you took the job."
This workplace violence campaign will address that issue specifically because our members must know how to make a report and, if necessary, force the police agency into taking their report.
Every day they walk into an institution, they know that something could happen, and they're aware of it. Let's say something does happen. They're supposed to forget it because it didn't happen in a bar, it happened in a correctional facility. You can't do that. If there's to be any order created, if there's to be any deterrent to that type of conduct, and if there's to be any retribution on behalf of the state or the victim, then we have to treat it seriously.
Once they assault you and nothing happens to them, that teaches them that, yes, we can assault staff and we can get away with it and we can keep doing it. This happens over and over and over again.
In situations like that, the courts either excuse it in a legal sense because the person was institutionalized to begin with, but the end result is the assaulter is back in the same institution, confronting the same people that had been confronted before, and very often with the victim of that assault, seeing him every day, every hour, and yet supposed to, number one, not let that affect how they perform their job, and not be more afraid for their own safety than they ought to do their job. It's a lose-lose situation for the employees.
The PEF employees know firsthand what steps they can take to improve their working conditions. So why not ask them to do it? And that's what this bill does.
We know that 25% of all state workers' comp claims are for assaults and injury as a result of being struck by an object.
For all the talk that we have about Homeland Security, this governor ought to be more concerned about making sure that safety and security is there for our public employees.
We're not talking about breaking the bank.
Workplace safety is something that I know is on the agenda of the Senate majority, and this thing will be passed and it will be enacted.
This is just common sense, and it's long overdue that we address this issue in the state workforce.
My message to George Pataki is let's do it this year. Let's find the resources, and let's pass these bills in both the Senate and the Assembly and sign it into law.